My name is Nathaniel Mander and I'm a harpsichordist, and I've just recorded the Goldberg Variations. I think I've been working on this piece specifically for about a year actually. It's one of those pieces, people say it takes them their whole life. The Goldberg Variations, they have an interesting history and a nice story that goes with it. They were one of Bach's only published works actually. They were inspired by a certain Count Kaiserling, and he had in his employment a young harpsichordist called Johann Goldberg, and he was meant to be ferociously talented. Kaiserling would occasionally travel to Leipzig and knew Bach. On one occasion he brought Goldberg with him in order to have lessons with Bach. Whilst there, the Count mentioned that he had terrible insomnia and needed something to occupy his harpsichordist so he could entertain him throughout the night. And Bach came up with this idea to write a piece which is as groundbreaking as it is, in order to keep the Count amused during his sleepless nights, which must have been a hugely ungrateful task for Paul Goldberg. But we think it's not true, because it would have made Goldberg 14 at the time, and even for a hugely talented 14-year-old, that's an exceptionally difficult piece. I was inspired by the piece itself. It's just one of those famous works that is just full of such deep emotional messages, and it really runs the whole gamut of the human condition, I think, actually. Bach really excelled himself. You can feel in this piece actually how inspired he was. It's lovely when you play a piece of music and you can really feel the composer being inspired by it. I feel very lucky I'm playing my own instrument, which is the kind of instrument I always dreamt of owning. When I was 18, I was studying at the Royal Academy. I was basically training on an instrument made by the same maker. He's called Andrew Garlick, such a talented maker. My teacher at the time, Carol Tarazi, also has one of his instruments, and so I just feel this great, strong connection with that type of instrument. You need an instrument which you can express yourself on, and I find I express myself very well on this type of instrument, which I like. Bach's music brings always great hope. He was just formidable in that way. He just always said yes to life, and I love that approach actually. It's incredibly challenging work, and it has actually been very difficult. The challenges of this piece are that it is just so technically demanding. He calls for specifically a 2-manual harpsichord, and he uses a fashionable tradition of the time actually, which you can do on a 2-manual harpsichord, which is to play in the same region but different music at the same time. It's very physical in that way. You know, it requires great dexterity, and there's lots of hand crossings, and it's just really, really difficult music, some of his most difficult music. And that's why it's so satisfying to play and record, because it is such a challenge in that way, and why a lot of people are drawn to it. I just love the idea of spreading the joy of Bach's music. Once again, I think it's really important to keep finding fresh approaches to this glorious music and making one's mark on it. You can discover so much about yourself through this music. I think that's so important in life, to have spaces where you can really feel understood, and Bach's music definitely does that for me.